It is Tuesday, June 30th, 2020, and you are tuned into Dirt Tracker Daily. I'm Justin Fiedler. A lot of stuff to get to today. A couple of news items here right off the top from last night and this morning, and then we'll give you a full rundown on everything PA Speedweek so far. But let's jump right in. Eldora Speedway and the World of Outlaws announced late yesterday that the Kings Royal, which was originally scheduled for July 15th through the 18th, has been sacked for 2020. Ongoing restrictions in Ohio for large gatherings remain in place, and the Speedway couldn't get a plan approved to reopen with fans in attendance. Fans that already have tickets and the like should keep them, as they will be honored for the Kings Royal in 2021. If you would like more information, you can find it at eldoraspeedway.com or worldofoutlaws.com. Certainly a kick in the gut for a lot of Ohio fans and a lot of other people that come from a long ways away to show up for the Kings Royal. And you would hope that this maybe isn't a trend that we'll see going forward, that some of these bigger events, will end up canceled. There's obviously still a lot of question around what's going to happen with the Knoxville Nationals, and hopefully we'll have some more insight on that and a resolution here soon. But hopefully things like that can still continue, and they can find a way to get these events to still happen and keep everybody safe at the same time. The other news that broke this morning that started out as rumors last night is the departure of Chris Madden from Scott Bloomquist Racing. Madden is currently 4th in World of Outlaws points, but has struggled this season compared to what we would normally expect out of him. He won the season opener back in January at Vado, but hasn't won since. Been a lot of struggles, a lot of issues. There is no official word yet on where Madden might end up, but Cody Summer told Dirt on Dirt that Team Zero will probably focus on Bloomquist for the remainder of the season and maybe run a second car only occasionally. There's still some issues there to work out with their sponsorship deal as well with Dryden. It was a tumultuous weekend for the team, with Bloomer being DQ'd from a heat race at the Firecracker for an illegal part related to the series droop rule. Following the incident, it was rumored he's actually considering leaving full-time Outlaw competition. Summer seemed to kind of downplay that later in the night, though, so we'll kind of see what happens there. We'll certainly keep you posted as we know more about the future for both Madden and Bloomquist. This obviously is kind of par for the course. It seems like there's kind of always drama and issues around this team, so not a big surprise to see some issues kind of pop up here partway through the season for that team, but hopefully they get it resolved, and hopefully we'll see both guys continue out full-time with the Outlaws. I wanted to jump in. I talked about it yesterday just briefly, Pennsylvania Speedweek stuff, kind of just gave you a kind of a quick rundown on what's happened so far, but I wanted to jump in kind of in more detail on what's happened over the last several nights with Pennsylvania Speedweek. A lot of racing has happened up to this point, but let's kind of get you ready for what's going on the rest of the week, and then get you kind of up to speed on what's happened up to this point. If you aren't aware, PA Speedweek is 410 sprint car racing across many of the area's top tracks. It started last week, Friday night, at the Williams Grove Speedway, and then through the weekend we've had 2 more shows at Lincoln, and then also one at Sealands Grove. Tonight's race is at Grandview Speedway, with the remainder of the schedule being Port Royal tomorrow, then Hagerstown, Williams Grove, and then back to Port Royal on Saturday for the finale. Tonight's show at Grandview is $10,000 to win. Last year's Speedweek champion was Lucas Wolf. Going back to Friday at Williams Grove, Brian Monteith led the early going, but a slider after a restart with 16 laps left put Lance DeWeese out front. Monteith stayed right with DeWeese over the next few laps, but pulled off with an issue with 8 laps remaining. That promoted Kyle Larson to second, and he was quickly after DeWeese for the lead. Larson tried multiple lines over the final laps, but just wasn't able to run down the 69K. At the end, it was DeWeese winning over Larson, Freddie Raymer, Danny Dietrich, and Ryan Smith. Saturday at Lincoln was the Kevin Gobrecht Memorial, paying $9,200 to win. Freddie Raymer started on the pole. There was a big crash on the first lap involving Jeff Halligan and Kyle Reinhardt. Reinhardt's 91 machine went for a big tumble, really destroying the car. They were able to get it back together and continue the last couple of nights as well. Both drivers were okay. On the complete restart, Kyle Larson jumped to the early lead from his second starting position and quickly gapped the field. As the race closed in on 10 laps to go, though, Danny Dietrich ran down both second running Lance DeWeese and then the leader Kyle Larson in lap traffic. Dietrich slid Larson for the lead with 11 to go, but Larson returned the favor in turns 3 and 4. The two actually made contact out onto the front stretch, and Larson was able to hold on to the top spot. As the 3 leaders worked lap traffic, Larson was actually able to get away a bit with 5 laps left, but Dietrich wasn't done yet. With 3 laps remaining, he had caught Larson again and threw a slider for the lead. Larson attempted to again return the slide job in turn 3, but Dietrich was able to fend him off. It was all Dietrich from there. He won over Larson, DeWeese, Freddie Raymer, and Rico Abreu. On Sunday, the tour moved over to Sealands Grove Speedway for the 30-lap Jan Opperman Dick Bogar Memorial, paying $5,000 to win. Danny Dietrich led the early going from the pole. He was soon under fire, though, from Rico Abreu, who ran him down and took the lead 13 laps laps in. The two traded sliders and the lead multiple times over the next few laps. Behind the leaders, the racing was really good in the top 5 between guys like Anthony Macri, Kyle Larson, and Brock Zierfoss. With 10 to go, Dietrich had finally established himself out front and put some track between his 48 machine and Abreu. The battle for third was absolutely hellacious over the last about lap and a half, with Larson finally prevailing over Anthony Macri. At the end, it was Danny Dietrich winning over Abreu, with Larson third, Anthony Macri fourth, and Brock Zierfoss in fifth. And then last night, Speedweek came back to Lincoln Speedway for 30 laps and 7,000 to win. An already tough Speedweek field that we've seen so far was made even more difficult with the addition of guys like Aaron Reitzel, Corey Eliason, and even Christopher Bell sticking around after the Pocono weekend to bring out his sprint car after a while off. Rico Abreu and Reitzel started together on the front row. Rico has had a very strong Speedweek so far, and he was out front quickly. Behind him, Bell and Larson battling for third in the early going was absolutely worth the price of admission. Those two guys battling together is just a great time to watch. 13 laps in, we had a why Kyle Larson is Kyle Larson moment. While battling with Bell for third, he nearly spun in turn 4, ending up tail tank into the wall and completely sideways. He stayed in the gas, though, somehow didn't spin, and only lost 1 position in the process. Back to the lead, though, it was all Rico Abreu out front. He handled multiple restarts and led every lap en route to the win over Aaron Reitzel, Christopher Bell, Brent Marks, and Ryan Smith. Again, really fun racing. If you'd like to go back and maybe watch some of these shows or check out some of the highlights, the opener at Williams Grove was on Dirt Vision, and then every show since then has been on Flow Racing and Speed Shift, so you can check those out in the on-demand sections and the highlights and all of that stuff as well. I mentioned it last night on Twitter. Sprint car racing is just better with Rico Abreu in competition. His team has been off for a while, but it seems like things are starting to kind of turn back around from them. You've seen that this week with some really good top 5 runs, and now this win last night. He's such a wheel man. He's just one of those guys, he's willing to do things and to go places that it just seems like some drivers either can't or won't. And it's just really entertaining to sit back and watch Rico Abreu drive, not only sprint cars, but midgets and all of the other things that he gets involved in. So glad to see Rico out front. Hopefully he can continue that going forward with the remainder of his schedule this season. Heading into Grandview tonight, Danny Dietrich leads the Speedweek points by 24 over Kyle Larson. A lot can still change, though, with 5 races still left in the week. 20 drivers have competed in every night so far, with 69 drivers having run at least one night. The racings have been really great. There's certainly more to come, and we'll keep you posted on the remainder of the week of what happens with Pennsylvania Speedweek. Again, if you want to keep up with that, there's a lot of stuff going on. You can follow the @PA Speedweek Twitter account, and then all of these races will be live across the streaming platforms. So we'll certainly keep you up to date on that. There is another new checkered pass this week on worldofoutlaws.com from Kevin Eckert. This edition is all about upset wins through the course of World of Outlaws history. It, again, also includes some really cool, fantastic old racing photos. You can check that out over at worldofoutlaws.com. Take a quick look at the pay-per-view schedule tonight. The Midwest Madness Tour continues at Fairmont Raceway. You can watch that on Flow Racing and on Speed Shift. Pennsylvania Speedweek, 410 sprint cars and 358 modifieds tonight at Grandview. Again, both on Flow Racing and Speed Shift. And then Flow Racing also has a USAC 24/7 coverage as well, so you can check that all out tonight if you're looking for a little bit of a dirt racing fix. That's it for the show today. Hope everybody has a good Tuesday. You can find Dirt Tracker Daily on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or where you get podcasts. Please subscribe and leave a review. You can also watch the show every day on YouTube and Facebook. You can email the show at info@dirttracker.com, and you can follow along at facebook.com/dirttracker, twitter.com/dirttracker, and the website itself, dirttracker.com. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Justin_Fiedler. Don't forget to sign up for the Dirt Tracker weekly newsletter that is live on the site right now. Hope everybody has a good Tuesday. We will see you tomorrow for more Dirt Tracker Daily.